Excuse me.
Dude, we got it.
I think we got it.
I think we got it. I think we
Did
have.
it work?
Yeah, I believe so. I think that we are now hosting the Part of Your Broadway World podcast.
Excellent.
We've broken in. We have officially
Excellent.
hijacked the show.
Welcome to part of your problem world.
Ooh, more problems, but honestly, the same amount of Broadway. Well, I guess
It's
not
true.
because this musical was never on Broadway, but it's inspired
It
by.
should be though.
It
That
should be.
that that's always been my case. After the success of Book of Mormon, I cannot believe they didn't adapt this into a stage musical because you totally could.
You absolutely could. That'd be really funny.
Some people have done it. Like there have been like fan attempts at doing stage versions of this, but I think it's maybe because they saw the problems of taking the kids and having it like. But even then, you could fudge this and make this a
Oh,
stage musical.
you
I
got to
stand
keep
by it.
it. You've got to keep it original. And plus, to those, I would say watch the movie Role Models.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
had
exactly. Yeah.
zero problems with that. Or that what was that movie? Good Boys. I was thinking about that the other day.
Yes, yes, that's a good point. Actually, I have never seen that movie. It's on my list.
It's surprisingly, it's basically trying to be a younger version of Superbad, but it's a better movie than it's not quite as funny as I was hoping it would be. It's funny. It's just not quite as funny as I was hoping it would be. But it's a I like the ending. I appreciated the ending.
Interesting, interesting. Yeah, it's on my list of I have an episode idea which is high school based movies, and it's on that that sphere of episodes.
Before we dig into our myriad of segues that are absolutely coming, we're here for a reason, and it is
We
to
are.
defend and be a torchbearer, I would say, for South Park, bigger, longer, and uncut, because I don't think I'm off base by saying it might be the most underrated musical ever created.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. It doesn't get enough respect. To be fair, none of their work does
This is
get
true.
enough respect for musicals as musicals. Like, not enough people have seen Cannibal the musical. Like, all of you need to go watch Cannibal the musical after you watch South Park. It's good, especially if you like South Park.
It is genuinely good. And what's the song about the horse? I can't remember what the horse's name is.
When I was on top of you.
No, but what's the
It's,
horse's name? 'Cause didn't
oh, the horse's
he
name is
he named it
Leanne.
after, yeah, Leanne. Which is actually Cartman's mother's name, and
Cartman's mother's name. Yeah.
that is not a coincidence.
No,
That is done very much on purpose.
the one of the things I was going to mention about South Park is if you love this movie, you absolutely need to do yourself a service and listen to the commentary because it's amazing. You find out you get to meet Air, like the guy who Butters is based off of, and it's really funny because they just keep inviting people into the room. But Cannibal the musical has a really funny uh, commentary where they just get wasted and Trey Parker just shits on his ex-wife the whole time. Like it's really funny.
Who is named Leanne?
He was
That
named
is
Leanne, yeah.
that is why. But we're talking. We're going to touch on some of those other projects because, to your point, off air. I mean, they don't get it. Well, I think you just said it actually. They don't get enough credit, and South Park is an incredibly musical show, and I mean that in all seriousness. Like, they could not make those jokes or come up with these numbers if they were not fans of the Broadway style
Oh,
musical, and
for
they absolutely
sure.
are.
For sure. I mean, one of the better episodes of it's a joke, but it's legit a good song is the song Safe Space from one of the newer seasons. Where it's like it's legit good Broadway song. Like it is. It genuinely is. And it's also funny.
Well,
Like
well,
it's what's great about them comedically.
I was gonna say that's kind of their MO because I mean they did do a concert
Yeah, yeah, that concert legit was good.
and it's
Like legit.
stacked.
Yeah, like there's so many great moments in that concert of they're doing like a call and response thing and it cuts to the audience singing along and you can legit see in Matt Stone's face the other utter disbelief that this is happening. Like it's one of those things where it's like it's so different making a thing and seeing how that thing affects people in real life and that concert is honestly the best thing South Park has done in a while. It's so much fun and the love is there. It's definitely there.
Well, and they understand maybe better than anyone that for something to be funny, it has to be good first.
Exactly.
Like it's not
Exactly.
enough. I always point to what I consider it's not a musical song, but what I consider to be their best song. Well, my favorite song. I'm not going to say it's their best song because that cheapens basically this entire movie. But Let's Fighting Love.
That is a great song.
But the
That is also
reason,
fun to watch them perform because you see that whole line just go suck my ball, and you could just see like this the surreal moment of like I wrote this song like however many years ago, and it has impacted these people in this way, and yeah, and it's just a good song. Like it's just a
but
good
that's
song.
but that's just it. The thing of it is, it's a good song and it parodies what it works as an anime opener because it's written like an anime opener, just with funnier
Absolutely,
lyrics. But they
absolutely.
understand musical genres and they know how to write music, which is why they're stuff like what's the other song you love is Put It Down.
Yes, I love Put It Down. That's one of
It's
my
but
favorites.
it's an anthem.
Yeah, it's an anthem, and also it's a joke on the fact that literally anyone could be president now. Like literally anybody. That guy down the street, he could be president now. And there's no, by their definition, no relative skill or it's such a layered joke that I didn't get until I listened to the song like the fourth time, and I was like, oh, it's a double entendre. I never got that. But like I didn't get that to transition. I didn't get that the opener was a parody of Beauty and the Beast until I was an adult.
Oh, we're gonna get there because trust me when I say this movie really does mimic. I say when I say it mimics the Disney outline,
It
it's only because
absolutely does.
but Disney mimics the Broadway outline.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially the Renaissance. Me and Haley
Yeah.
have talked about this before. Like
Well, it's no
Beauty
secret.
and the Beauty and the Beast, the animated movie, is a Broadway musical. Like
It
that's why it
is.
transitions so well onto
Well,
Broadway.
but
It's probably the best of their musicals.
starting with The Little Mermaid and up to not including Tarzan, they were all Broadway musicals.
Pretty well, yeah, yeah. And they all eventually went to be. I mean, I don't think the Tarzan one was super successful,
Well,
but
because
like,
the reason why is because that movie is not a musical; it's a movie with music in it.
yeah, yeah.
And
But like
the music's not diegetic; it doesn't take place in the,
yeah,
and that's
you're
the
not wrong.
difference.
You have Hercules singing "You'll Be in My Heart." Not Hercules, Tarzan singing "You'll Be in My Heart." You're like, this is weird. This
Yeah,
is a weird. This
because
is weird.
the song doesn't make sense in the context of Tarzan singing it, and
Yes,
that's why
absolutely,
it
absolutely.
works for the background. But there's a whole there's a YouTube channel called Sideways, and he's brilliant,
Yes,
and he
I've
does a
seen it.
great video. Who he can explain it significantly better than I can. Why Tarzan works as a movie but not as a musical. Like you can't.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to check it
Well,
out.
the thing is, you can't call Tarzan a musical because nobody other than one point. What's the gorilla's mom's name? I can never remember her name. It
Kaya,
starts with a
Kayla,
Kai. I think it is Kaya. But anyway,
Kaya.
only she sings in the story in terms of like a character
Really?
singing. Yeah, only her. Oh no,
Oh,
there's also the musical number that NSYNC wrote where the
yeah, the dooba doop, dabba dab, dooba doop doo. Yeah,
which
that's diegetic, right?
that is yes, but
Yes,
when you
yes,
only
yes,
have
yes.
two diegetic numbers, a musical that does not
I'm
make.
I'm really happy you know the term diegetic because every time I do a musical related episode, I find myself explaining it, and I always feel like I'm explaining it wrong. So I'm like, I'm glad you know because it makes me feel less stupid.
I learned it from Sideways.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I learned it from Lindsay Ellis.
I was going to
She's my
say
go-to.
you either learn it from Sideways or Lindsay Ellis, or you're in music theory classes or a
Yeah.
musical theater program. Therefore, but anyway, so yes, this is a hill I will die on. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut is if you're teaching a college course in musical theater, especially at an entry level where you're getting to learn how the bones of a musical, this should be one of the ones that you point at.
That's valid. That's valid. I don't disagree. I don't necessarily disagree. My only real criticism of it, and this is a loose light, it's kind of too short. The pacing of it is super brisk. Like it's only an hour 20, and at the hour mark, I was like, oh my God, this is almost over already. This movie felt so much longer when I was a kid.
Well, not that ties into the title, does it not?
I see, I
Yeah,
see
it's
what you.
shorter than expected.
It's shorter than I expected it to be. Hey man, it's not about the length. It's about
It's about the quality.
the quality of the musical making.
The only pushback I would say, which I said the same thing about K-pop Demon Hunters, not on this podcast. I said it on the Average Intelligence podcast, which you can check out because we talk about K-pop Demon Hunters and how awesome it is and how it also works very well as a musical. Not so much
For
Broadway,
sure.
but I mean, it fits the
You could do
flow.
a Broadway
Well,
K-pop. It would
actually,
be
yeah.
tough. It'd be tough,
No,
but you
well,
could do it.
only because, as we talked about, that movie, and I'm not cutting it up. It's an observation. That movie was not created for our generation. That was created for the current.
No, that's true.
It was created, and it's very fast, and it feels fast. But
Jordan
I
always goes
understand why.
anytime I go a musical that I go, I don't think this will work on stage. Jordan automatically responds with two words, and that's Lion King. And then I go, oh, no, that's a valid point. Yeah, that's a valid because I went Happy Feet. That's a ridiculous idea for a musical. And Jordan went Lion King, and I went, oh, that's so valid. That's so true.
Happy Feet's. As someone who didn't care that much for Happy Feet, I feel like a stage production would be better because, fun fact,
Really
sometimes
interesting.
sometimes we already referenced Be Our Guest, and then we'll get into South Park, I promise. But I hate the song Beauty and the Beast, not Be Our Guest. I'm talking about Be Our Guest. I hate Be Our Guest as a number in
Huh?
the movie. However,
Really?
when I saw Beauty and the Beast on stage, it's different on stage. That
Huh?
musical number works really well on stage.
Really?
I don't
Fascinating.
I don't care for the song, but I will say on stage it's really good.
Hmm. Hmm.
Well,
Interesting.
kind of like I saw Aladdin on stage too, and A Whole New World works really well in the movie. On stage, it's kind of eh.
Wait, so did you see the Broadway version of it on
Yes,
stage?
yes, I did.
So I've seen I've talked with Haley about this before, but I've seen a slime tutorial of it. Um, and yeah, that is for a particular kind
If
of
you know, you know.
video. If you know, you know. And I thought it was terrible. I thought it was one of the worst plays
It
I'd ever seen in my
it
life. It was
well, it depends. It wasn't stupendous. Beauty and the Beast was better on stage. Um,
it was very
yeah, it's tough.
pantomimey,
Eh,
very pantomimey.
the genie's a tough character to do outside of animation, and that might be
Yeah,
one of the reasons why. There's a
I
lot of fantastical elements to that are just kind of tricky.
yeah, I thought the California Adventure play they did was better than the expect. And the only reason why it bothers me that the Broadway play is bad is because it's so expensive.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Like,
and I'm just laughing at people who are tuning into this are probably like, oh, they're talking about South Park, but they watch stage musicals. Absolutely, we do because musical theater
absolutely.
is awesome.
Also, the South Park guys they made a very successful Tony Award winning play, so it's very that they didn't make
Us.
into a movie for some reason.
Oh, they absolutely should turn Book of Mormon into a movie.
Just saying.
The
Don't make the
original
musical with
cast is
Kendrick
around.
Lamar. Just saying. Don't make the musical with Kendrick Lamar. Make Book of Mormon movie instead.
I agree. I agree with that statement. Although I think they might. I've heard them say that they're kind of done with feature length
Well, they
films.
were the one that killed them was
Team
this is
America.
South Park. It was Team America. That was the movie that made them go, we're done with movies. But yeah, no, it disappeared, but they filmed it. They've made it. There's a musical they're making with Kendrick Lamar, which like I'm stoked on because as we're gonna get into, I love their musical. I love it when I love all their musical numbers. Like I'm a big fan of theirs. When it comes to
Well,
musically, I'm a big fan of
okay.
theirs.
Oh, hardcore, and it just because like the songs are just genuinely good.
I loved like that concert was such a trip for me because I was a huge DVDA fan. Like I like their music. I like their version of what would Brian Boitano do. I like Now You're a Man. I like their music. They have a
It's good
song called
stuff.
I Am Chewbacca, which is really good. There's one called something Volcano or something. I remember I Am Chewbacca because it's super metal. It's super weird. Yeah,
Wait,
I'm a
wasn't that in
fan.
Clerks?
I am Chewbacca. No, they did. So the a DVDA was a is a is a band that sings the ending credit version of what would Brian Boitano do. That was a band that they formed that they actually did a concert version like concert of at one of the movie festivals, and one of their songs is called "I Am Chewbacca." Like I said, I'm pretty sure it's called "I Am Chewbacca." It's been a while since I listened to it, but pretty sure it's "I Am Chewbacca."
It's
But
awesome.
yeah, I just like their music. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the music.
Alrighty, so but before we get too sidetracked, we are here. we're gonna try to behave. Emphasis on
Hey,
try.
we're still the problems. Just because Haley's not here, we're still the problems.
Watch us behave more. Actually, that would track for us because as sowers of chaos and disarray, not general disarray, just disarray.
I don't know, that's what you did there.
Yeah, there's
I
a
can't be
deep
too
cut.
chaotic when Haley's not here. It's not the same.
Yeah, I know. It's fun to frustrate her. But anyway, for those who haven't seen South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut, we'll give you a brief plot synopsis so that you can kind of understand where we're coming from in terms of when we talk about the structure and how ingenious it is. So I've seen it so many times, and I watched it recently knowing we were going to talk about it. But basically, we start with a pretty typical opening number for a
Yeah.
musical where Stan and who is then joined by several townsfolk and eventually the other boys give you not only the lay of the land but also start moving the plot forward.
Yep. Yep.
And this
Yep.
this is very much inspired by as you said, what's the name of that song?
It's good, good, not good morning. Our town or
Bonjour.
Bell is what it's called.
That yeah, it is called Bell. Well, yeah, whatever was like bonjour, bonjour. They even have moments where people are greeting each other,
Yeah, and
and
they're throwing out that the gag on you see friendly people and you just don't care. Get out of my way. It's a direct reference to Beauty and the Beast. I also think it's a little bit Oklahoma as
it's
well.
very. I see. I actually, you're the one who said Beauty and the Beast. I'm like, oh yeah, that's true, but yeah, it feels more like Oklahoma.
A little bit. It's a little. I mean, they're obviously Cannibal the musical is a direct
Well, that's
parody
yeah,
of
that's more of a
Oklahoma
direct parody. But yeah, I mean, Bell sets the tone for that opening number, but
for
this is
sure.
how it's genius because Bell does a good job of establishing the world we're in, but it doesn't so much move the plot until afterward. This song, Mountain Town, does both.
Yeah, yeah, it absolutely does. It sets up the plot. It introduces. The thing about I love about South Park the movie is you can watch it, and I mean when we do the gushing bit, I'll get into my history because I have a history with this movie. But you can watch this movie never having watched the
Never.
show.
Yep.
This is the I the movie made me love the show. Like I'm a reverse. I watched the movie first, and then I kind of I mean I was familiar with the show, but I really became a fan after the movie
Yeah.
because it's so simple. You don't need it doesn't require again it doesn't require you to know any of the show any of the characters, and it's still funny.
And it sets it up that song's less than 3 minutes long, I think.
Absolutely, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
absolutely,
mean,
yeah,
it
something like
just
that.
like I appreciate the pacing, but I have to shout out my favorite line: "Off to the movies we shall go, where we learn everything that we know."
I know, because the movies teach us what our parents don't have time to say. Is so accurate. It's
Well, and
shit like
then
that was my childhood in a nutshell, man. We like that is peak millennial right there, even
it
though they're
really
Gen
is.
X.
And then of course Kenny's. That's
I
right.
I was real obsessive. I was a real weird kid. I used to slow down the song so I can learn Kenny's lines specifically. So there's a point where I could do Kenny's lines verbatim because I wanted to learn them because
Well,
I was
that's another thing I love about South Park is Matt Stone is actually saying words
oh for sure he is.
every
Yeah, yeah,
time,
for sure he is.
and
Yep.
sometimes you can pick them out, and it's very funny.
Sometimes if you get a really fucky subtitles, it'll have his dialogue in the
Yeah,
subtitles.
I've noticed
It's
that
really
before.
weird.
Yeah, it's very fun. But so Mountain Town sets up the plot where the boys are gonna go see the new Terrence and Phillip movie, which is promising to be the raunchiest, most uh, what would you say? Just the
Uh,
absolute worst. Like they're raising
yeah,
the bar.
in terms of language, yeah, it's absolutely raising the bar on it's a as they put it, quote, dirty movie.
Hmm.
But like it's so weird. Maybe it's because I've watched such dirtier movies. I'm like, so they're saying some, but that's the point of
That's the
the
point.
movie.
That's the
Yeah,
entire
you're like
point of this movie.
they're not really saying anything that bad. Like I mean, yeah, what he's saying is kind of reprehensible. What they're saying is like Uncle Fucker is kind of reprehensible. Like if that's where Haley tapped out, I fully get it. But like,
I will say that number it furthers the plot, but it also it tells you exactly it's that's your buckle up
oh, for sure,
musical number.
they love their musical number that smacks you in the face is what I call it.
They yeah.
It's the musical number that they love that the characters the couple who are like, this is disgusting. You know, they must be Canadian, which is true. We're all disgusting.
That
Um,
is true. But that also, that doesn't have, at least not to my ear, that doesn't have a particular, like, there's not a song you can pick up and say that's referencing that, but it's just kind of that, honestly, it kind of feels like Oklahoma still.
a
It's just
little
an
bit.
upbeat, it's an upbeat, like,
What's interesting to me about it is up until that moment, if you put on that movie in front of your kids or your parents or whatever,
you're fine.
I don't think there's any cursing in the opening song,
I
and
don't think there is either. I think you're right.
and so you've seen book or you've seen Book of Mormon, right? You know the music from Book of Mormon.
I know the music. I've not seen the play, but I've listened. I know the
So
songs.
this the Uncle Fucker of Book of Mormon is Hasidiga Ibawai. Because up until that point, there's no cursing in that play. There's no cursing in that musical, and Hasidiga Ibawai is the song that makes people get up and leave.
I
Like, and
love
that's what
that
Uncle
song.
Fucker is. I
That
do too.
song is so funny. Just
I'm
when
a
they
big
give him
fan.
the reveal, wow, that's so wholesome. That's like a Kuna Matata. What does it mean?
What exactly does that phrase mean? Oh, I don't think you're allowed to say that. But that's what that song is. That's your slap you in the face. Like Uncle Fucker is the song that makes you get up and leave the theater. And that it's represented that way in the movie in such a brilliant way. Where it's
Hmm.
like, yeah, like South Park or Terrence and Phillip in South Park to me is kind of a stand-in for South Park itself.
They are. No,
Right?
they've said as
Certainly in
much.
this movie,
They
it is anyway.
created those characters to parody the fact that like parents organizations are were trying to cancel the show for language, and it's like, and they make this point several times, and in this movie too. I think doesn't Kyle's mom actually say the line? It's like, like deplorable violence is okay so long as nobody says any naughty words.
It's my favorite. It's my favorite line she has, where she says the MPAA says that deplorable violence is okay unless nobody says and she actually says the MPAA
Yeah.
as long as nobody says a naughty word. I'm like
Well, but
that's
this entire movie was just a troll on the MPAA because they intentionally made it like three times more vulgar,
oh
knowing
yeah,
full well
yeah,
that they were gonna cut some of those
yeah.
bits.
Matt Stone has you could Google. I'm not gonna get into it, but you can Google all the stories Matt Stone has of Paramount. You can YouTube them. They're all funny.
Yeah,
Like they're
they're
all
all.
funny.
Well,
They're
I
all funny.
remember one in particular that he's talking about a meeting they had. Where it's like, well, can't we narrow that down to three? And he was just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
really?
My favorite was when he's talking about the music video and he's like, "Your lack of participation equals success." I was like, "That's funny. That's funny. That's good."
Oh
But
god.
like, but the funny bit about South Park the movie is not this. Oh man, my mom will never see this. My mom is kind of Sheila was when I was a child, kind of Sheila Broflovsky.
Yeah,
Um,
mine too to a point.
so like I like the boys' relationship to Terrence and Phillip is my relationship to South Park, where I would sit up in we had a room at the top of our house we lived in, and I'd sit up there with my headphones on, with the mute down, with the volume all the way down, and like there was the one time I was listening to all the music in the car, and I accidentally unplugged it, and it was Uncle Fucker, and my mom turned around and like I was like, what is that? And I like quickly like plugged it back in,
Oh, dude,
and
it's on my playlist,
I
and
mean me
it's
too,
but
definitely is
it's had some unfortunate pop-ups
for
in
sure,
shuffle.
same. But in
Fortunately, I know.
Canada.
Fortunately, I know how the song starts, but it starts so fast.
No, it's the
Like
same
you
thing with Kyle's
gotta,
mom's a bitch. You're like, oh shit, can't.
yeah, you gotta skip it, and sometimes skip lags a little bit. So
Yeah,
like is like the first uncle
definitely.
is like right there.
You're like right into it. No, they don't even. They leap right into it. But like in Canada, the movie was for many years of my childhood. It was rated. So our rating system works. We got PG, and then we got 14A, and then we got 18A. So a lot of your R-rated movies in Canada are just 14A, and some
Yeah.
of the R-rated movies in Canada are 18A. This, for much of my childhood, was 18A. So I could not rent it. I could not get it. And I learned recently that our rating system is self-submitted. So I guess they must have resubmitted it and it got brought down to a 14A. So I turned 18 expecting this to be 18A, expecting to be able to rent my first 18A rated movie. It was 14A and I was pissed. I was like, "Oh, this is bullshit."
Well, but I'm not gonna lie. I feel like it shouldn't be rated R.
No, it absolutely should not be. Well, I mean, we don't want to get to a diatribe about the MPAA, but your MPAA is bullshit.
Well, because the only thing in this movie is the language.
Well, and
Oh,
so that's why it gets messy
oh,
because
okay,
like
yeah, yeah,
it,
Saddam.
Saddam. Also, there's a bit of violence at the end. It gets kind of graphic
Oh,
towards the
but
end.
come on, South Park
No,
violence is
what cartoon violence is the same as like live action violence?
well, and
That's a debate for.
this is barely cartoon violence.
I
Like,
mean, like not to
I
spoil
know,
the ending, but
the
they're getting like
less I
disemboweled.
know, but the less realistic a character looks, the less
Yeah.
violent it really is.
Like Mr. Mackey's like die Canadian scum as he's like snapping and
I
guys.
will
It's
put
like
it I will put it to you this way. I from a violence perspective, I really wouldn't have a problem with like a 14-year-old watching South Park.
no,
In
no.
Invincible, eh,
Yeah. My issue with the NPA is this why I prefer our rating systems to yours. No offense, because I do think that there should be a middle ground between PG-13 and R rating
I
because
agree.
there's some of your R like I just put I was kind of sort of late for this because I was putting up a video about the Birdcage and that movie's rated R and he says the F word twice and there's no other reason for that movie to be rated R other than he says the F word twice and that's
No, you're
stupid.
forgetting the gays.
Yes, it came out in the 90s and the gays. But like I mean generally in terms of content like there's nothing graphic or explicit about the
No,
gays in that.
but the thing of it is our rating system is different because you can't re-rate a movie. So
No.
it was rated R in the early 90s because of the gays.
So I to tie it back so I don't necessarily think this movie is PG-13,
But I
but I
don't know
don't
that it's
believe it's
R.
exactly. I don't know that it's R. That's why I think
We
you
need
guys
like
need
a
a
PG-16.
yeah, or I mean if you guys introduced your own version of the 14A, I think that's perfectly fine. Like I think 14 is a good age for this.
I
Like I was
agree.
probably too
Well,
young. I was probably too
my
young to watch this.
my idea is I think we should just get rid of PG-13 and like you said because let's be real here.
Shift it up? Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah, just shift
yeah,
it up because like I
yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah.
if a movie's PG, like and of course it depends. Like now we're getting into this
What
diatribe
is
about rating.
yeah? What is the difference between a PG and a PG-13? I completely agree.
It's I mean it's honestly today
A lot of your PG-13 movies are PG rated here. Almost
yeah,
all of them are
and
PG rated
frankly
here.
they should be. But and you know what's funny? I was actually complaining about this because I was trying to find a family picture
A family picture.
that involved kicking the shit out of people. And that's very hard to find because unfortunately kung fu flicks often have an unfortunate tendency to have plot devices that involve drugs and or prostitution.
Yeah, it's true, actually. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of that. Yeah,
you don't think about it until you're trying to
yeah.
find one, and
I'm
it's
like,
like
but what about Bloodsport? No, 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 no,
yeah,
yeah, no.
yeah. Well, and the funny thing was, I was like, okay, this one's rated R for violence, but drugs,
Yeah, yeah,
prostitution.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
not
that's
I'm not worried about drugs, honestly, because it's like,
no,
and the thing
a
is,
certain
I'm fighting an uphill battle against a mother, because like honestly, I don't know that I would care, but
fair enough. No, fair enough. But so I watched this when I was the kid's age.
I
Like that's the
was
age I
yeah,
watched it. I
I
was
was
eight.
slightly because I mean that's another thing people don't realize. South Park started in 1997. This movie came out in 1999.
Yeah, it was between season 2 and 3,
Yeah,
which is
so I
interesting. It's
remember
really early on in the
this
show.
movie's older than the Millennium
They
by a
don't
year.
like this movie because they go, my God, we could do this so much better
Well,
today
just make
and
another
easier and
one.
faster. They don't want to though. That's what's frustrating.
Oh, but they need to. But anyway, so continuing, the boys see the movie and have thus enhanced their vocabulary,
Yes, they have.
and they take it to school where, well, actually, I feel like that's not terribly bad what Cartman says to Garrison, but suffice it to say,
Oh
parent
no.
parents are. I'm also thinking of later seasons too, so that's probably why.
Oh,
I have
that
to
is true.
remind myself this is after season 2, before season 3.
Yeah, yeah.
So the parents become and the school become very concerned. So Mr. Mackey is tasked with teaching the children replacement words, which leads us to the wonderful number "It's Easy K."
It's easy okay. Oh, I love that song. That song's really jaunty. Oh, wait, isn't before? No, it isn't. It isn't. You're right. It's easy okay is the second number because I was like, isn't
Third, because you have
third number?
yep the Terrence and Phillip movie has a musical number.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it isn't one of the many reprises of of Stan vomiting and singing about how much he loves the girl. Isn't that before It's Easy
Oh
MK?
yeah, yeah, at some
The
point,
Peanuts
yes.
parody, as I like to call it, because it's straight up a parody of Peanuts.
It very much
Um,
is. Yeah, but I
I,
so that yeah, you're right. That's a
I
reprise. Yeah, so that's it's not
they
a full
sing it.
number, but it's in there.
I mean, I love I every time I watch that for whatever reason, as an adult, I love Gregory because
I love Gregory.
we've
What does he?
like as a
What does
kid,
he
I
say?
fucking hated him.
No, what does he say? It's
Like,
like we've been enjoying ourselves, frolicking merrily through the. And speaking of, what does he say?
come Wendy, let us go jump the brushy knoll. It's so good. It's so funny. He's such a douche. It's so great. We like if they were teenagers or like adults, you're like that guy. That guy's just this way to get women. Like he's just that way to get women. Like
100%.
as a kid, he believes it. As a kid, he believes what he's saying. But as an adult, it's just to get women. We've all
He's the
met a
pony.
Gregory in our lives.
Well, he's the ponytail guy from Good Will Hunting.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yes. Exactly. Pseudo intellectual.
That's
Pseudo
why
intellectual.
I freely admit I'm just an idiot.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I'm like I don't know shit about fuck.
And here we are
Okay.
breaking here we are breaking down a case study for why South Park is the most underrated musical ever
I
made.
mean, it's so under. Yeah.
We're using
Yeah.
terms like diegetic and
Diegetic.
I believe you
And
said jaunty.
jaunty. It is a jaunty tune.
It is a jaunty.
That song is the South Park movie is also strange because the songs on the soundtrack are different than the ones in the movie.
Slightly. They don't deviate too much.
Some of them deviate in rhythm and speed.
Really?
The version of Up There, which we're gonna get to, is faster in the movie and
It
slower on the
is.
soundtrack.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Um,
You make a valid point. But what I love about It's Easy MK is it takes the place of your fun dance number
it
that
absolutely
often
does.
comes early. I would throw it's not as grand of a scale as say like Under the Sea, but it's similar.
I could see, yes, it serves the function of Under the Sea of changing the perspective
It's
of
a
the
fun
kids.
transitional song, but then
Yes,
of
yes.
course it doesn't stick because they all
Trying
go back to
to
the theater together.
honestly, the comparison to it's funny. It's funny. I said Bell, you said Under the Sea, because that's such an interesting comparison because it does serve the same function of Under the Sea in terms of it's trying to teach a lesson that the boys don't listen to, and in the same way that
Exactly.
Under the Sea is trying to teach a lesson that Ariel doesn't listen to.
Hmm.
Like that is so accurate. That I had not thought of that before. That is such an interesting point. But what's interesting about the soundtrack version of It's Easy MK is Kyle's not in it.
He is not,
He's not in it,
but he is
which was
absolutely
always
yeah. But he's in the room, isn't he?
he's in the movie version of the song.
Yeah.
He says poo head. And I remember I'd watched the movie so many times, I'd listen to the soundtrack and I'd rewind it, I'd be like, what the fuck? That sounds wrong. Why does that sound wrong? And it would like trip me up because it didn't sound right. I was like, why doesn't that sound right? Because it's different. And the versions on the soundtrack are different. It's super weird, super trippy.
That's fun. I made a better point than I thought I did because I was just going off. It's just a fun number that doesn't really do anything for the plot, but it's a fun number with a lot of movement going on. But
Oh,
you're right. Yeah, it's teaching them a lesson that they don't listen to.
I completely disagree that it has nothing to do with the plot because
Well,
it
no, in this
absolutely
because
moves
every
them.
musical number in this movie, that's another thing.
Absolutely.
There's no wasted motion in this movie. Everything.
No, absolutely not. No, you know
None.
that song is what sets up them going back to watching it, and then Kenny dying. Basically, it sets up Kenny dying.
Yeah, which actually, so it's not a spoiler alert because it's integral to the plot. So Kenny decides to imitate the movie, which this might actually be the point where the creators of South Park are actually kind of they're simultaneously they're not poking fun at themselves because this is something that did happen. There were a lot of how do I say this sensitively? A lot of children who had not received proper guidance. Well, not a lot of. I think there were like two or three. There were some children that did not receive proper guidance going up and thought that a literal cardboard cutout character that dies in every episode up to that point and returns is something to be imitated.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. I would have never done. But to be fair, there was people who imitated Jackass growing up, so like
Well, but that
I
wasn't
imitated
like
Jackass growing up.
the aim there was pain, not death. But
This is true.
so I, I don't think because Matt and Trey are historically all about making fun of themselves, but I feel like they don't take it to a level that's intentionally insensitive.
No, I don't.
Well,
They maintain they don't, but
Scientology notwithstanding,
notwithstanding, they maintain that they don't. But
I don't
Uh,
think they ever do anything that's intentionally mean spirited. I'll put it that
ooh,
way.
that I disagree with because I found
Okay,
in
no, that's not true.
retrospect.
Rob Reiner.
I mean Rob Reiner, Barbara Streisand, but no, more specifically, the one that bothered me was what they did to Chef. I especially in retrospect when you find out that he was sick and that like he was being manipulated by Scientology and they didn't have an ounce of sympathy for him, and I just thought that was cruel. Like that in retrospect, it kind of bothers me how
I
they
love that
treated that
episode
character.
though.
I like it removed from the context of the actor involved in
That's
it.
that's true.
Um, but
Well,
like, yeah,
but
when
you
you're like,
gotta
oh man, if this is how
to
they treat their friends,
well, but
like,
to speak up for Matt and Trey, they probably viewed it at the time. They probably viewed it as like, well, okay, well, fuck you too.
yeah, I don't, it's one of those like it makes me feel icky in retrospect. But
Yeah,
that
that was a
you're like
really
20 years removed from an event.
yeah, that was a really stupid thing to say that Matt and Trey never do anything vindictively because they absolutely do.
Oh, absolutely they
Yeah,
do.
they
Vindictiveness
absolutely do.
is their MO. I mean,
How
this
do I
movie
do
is in
this?
no way
Okay,
vindictive.
I will rephrase. I feel like they never punched down.
No, I can't think of a time that they not intentionally,
Not intentionally.
not in a way that not everybody else. Now you could maybe make the argument that it was, but at the time it wasn't intentionally punching down because it was acceptable to make those kind of jokes at the time, is how I
Yeah,
would put it.
yeah,
Where you're like, oh, I wouldn't make that joke now, but at the time it
absolutely.
was okay to make that joke. Like that's how I would maybe phrase it.
Well, but long story short, Kenny decides to imitate the movie by lighting a fart on fire, and then he actually lights himself on
And
fire.
in an effect that honestly looks like the fire effect in this looks good. Like it
It
looks
honestly
better than it
does.
should.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it honestly
I don't know
does.
if it's CGI
I
or if
think they
they
did CGI.
did they. It looks good. And I was like, oh, that looks like a fun. And also, did you get that was George Clooney when you were
Yes,
younger?
yes,
Oh,
I
see, I
did.
never did. It wasn't until way later that I was like, oh, it's an ER parody.
Well,
Oh
that and
my God,
they're
I
making
never.
right because George Clooney was an early fan and he wanted to be on the show, and they let him play the cat. And
No, the
so
gay dog. He was the gay
that's right.
dog.
That's right. It was the dog. So this is a way to give him a
Sparky.
speaking role.
Yeah, yeah, and I think he comes back again as this character because
Yeah, I think he does come back as that doctor, but it also gives us another line. We accidentally replaced your heart with a baked
with the baked
potato. You have
potato.
about 3 seconds to live.
His delivery is so good. It's so funny. Like when we
Well, I
accidentally
mean,
replaced her with the baked potato.
well, and
It's good. It's
people
funny.
forget Clooney. I mean, Clooney and ER, man, that's going back.
I it's really the coincidence is astonishing because my friend texted me this morning. He's like, "Did you know that Scott Grimes was on ER?" And I was like,
Scott
"Yeah,
Grimes was on ER.
he's like a major character on that show. Yeah,
What?
yeah, for like
I
six
just
seasons.
I just always laugh whenever he screams in the Orville. I hear Steve Smith, like Steve Smith
Yeah,
comes out.
I think that was part of the joke when they cast him on American Dad, is he was the guy from ER. But yeah, apparently he was on it for like 6 seasons.
Huh, now I actually have to watch ER because yeah, well, and then he plays Malarkey in Band of Brothers, and it's just like once you make that
Yes,
connection,
he does.
you're like, and he does fantastic, but it's a serious role. Although to be fair, Malarkey's probably the most comedic character on in that show.
Yeah, yeah. It would make sense. He's really good at blending drama, but that's
But he's
blending
real
drama and
well, and again,
seriousness.
we sing the Orville's praises because the serious episodes that involve Gordon are
So good.
they
So
they thread they thread that needle quite well.
But yeah, him, his heart, baked potato heart exploding does lead to one of my favorite numbers in the movie, which is
Little
"Hell
boy, you're
Isn't
good.
Good."
Yeah, which oh my god, this is great. Now, what's the story with that? Because that is Metallica.
That's well, it's not Metallica, not all
That's
of
right.
Metallica,
It's not
but
all. It's yeah,
it's
James
James
Hetfield.
Hetfield.
Yeah,
But he was uncredited, and I've never been able to find out any information as to why he wasn't uncredited.
I
Like
believe
I've
he
never.
asked to be uncredited because I think he wanted to do
Really?
the song, but I think he didn't want to steal anything. I could be misremembering this.
Is that the
I
reason?
believe he may have requested to be uncredited.
Interesting. Because every time I've looked up what's the story, why is James Hetfield uncredited, I've never been able to find any information on it.
I don't know.
I did find an anecdote that there is a version of it that Trey Parker does it in case they couldn't get James Hetfield. I do know that.
Well, I think it was funny because I think I'm remembering this now. I think when they were writing the song, they wanted it to sound like Metallica, and then at some point somebody just like mentioned it or like asked, it's like, hey, do you want to do this song? Because like I don't know, I can't remember, but anyway, yes, that's James Hetfield doing the song
Yeah,
where
absolutely.
Kenny is unceremoniously denied entrance to heaven.
Which is just all naked women.
Well, I mean, that's what Kenny is all about.
Yeah, right, right, right. He winds up in hell, where he's promptly introduced to and there's a lot of this is another great movie. I'm a big fan of setup and payoff.
And
Like
South Park is
I love how early in the movie you hear off camera that Saddam Hussein has recently been killed by a pack of wild boars, and the world is now glad to be rid of him. And it doesn't even register with you because you're so taken in by that opening number. So that's why he's in hell. Like it's
yeah.
like details like that I never picked up on as a kid. I was like as an
I
adult, you're like,
remember
oh, it's so funny now.
not my most recent rewatch, but the time before I picked up on that. But you also have to remember Saddam Hussein was still very much alive when this movie was
Oh,
made.
for sure he was. Yeah, yeah. That's why he. That is why he is was selected was because he was
Yeah,
in the news in a kind of a major way.
yeah. Now there's a rumor that when he was in captivity before he was, uh,
That they made him watch it
they
as
made him
torture. I
watch
heard
it, but he was apparently a fan of the movie.
that's so. I mean, how could you not How could you not have a? I mean, he said Saddam Hussein.
I don't
Perhaps he
know that
didn't.
I believe that he was a fan of it, but I do believe that some of United States military personnel was like, it would be funny.
If we just made him watch I Can Change over and over again.
It's like, what would be hilarious? That's
Oh,
absolutely. I could see a bunch of bored just
very
MPs
funny.
being like, we should totally show him this movie.
I wouldn't even make him watch it. I would just play the song on repeat.
Oh no, but he has
That
to
would be
watch
funny
it
enough.
to have context, right?
Oh, that is true. That is true. That's a
But
valid
my
point.
question is, did they give him what do they speak Arabic in Iraq? Or is it Pashto? Did they give him a version in the language he spoke? Because I feel like
I
that's something that you could probably engineer. I
I
mean,
don't know.
no one is more resourceful than the U.S. military.
I feel like they're probably. I mean, there's a bunch of dubs for this. I feel like there must be. There must be.
I would think, although I don't know, maybe Saddam spoke English, but I feel like you would need. This has so many
That's also a good
colloquialisms.
point.
I don't
No,
know
that is
that.
true.
Yeah. Plus singing, and that's always a tricky thing. But anyway, so yes, we are introduced to Satan and his new boyfriend.
And his new boyfriend, his new fella, as it were, who sucks. Uh, he sucks a whole bunch, literally.
I can't tell you unless you've seen it. I just can't tell you how hilarious of a concept and how out of left field this was. And although this isn't the first time we've seen Saddam in South Park.
No, he was the bad guy, and I believe he was the bad guy, not without my anus. I believe that's the big twist of Not Without My Anus is Canada's been taken over by Saddam Hussein. If I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken.
He was a
And
villain earlier.
the voice is different at that point as well. Like it's not quite as
Slightly, it's slightly different.
it's a bit deeper. It's not quite as high as it is in this.
Yeah.
They hadn't quite nailed it yet. But yeah, Saddam is a recurring character in South Park. He does come back in the show at least once.
Well, and I'm still maintaining that he's currently back just in a Trump cosplay.
In a Trump costume. I mean, who knows?
Here's the thing: Matt and Trey don't do things randomly, and we've seen a couple of line for line repetitions.
I mean, the song has played more than once. So like, I that was my theory. It's
That's
not paid off as that yet, but who knows? I'm not saying it's
well,
not gonna happen, but
it's worth noting that the Ba'ath Party was a fascist regime.
just
I'm
saying.
just saying. I'm
Just
just saying.
just saying. So
But
yeah, Kenny.
help me out here. So this is where I get a little. I think, and it's funny because I watched it recently. I think this is there where I get. Do we get up there first, or do we get I Can Change?
Up there is first.
Up there is first, yeah.
Up there is first. Yeah.
Which is a gospel number.
Well, that song is funny. Someone pointed out. I might have been one of Matt Stone, Trey Parker who pointed this out, but that's the one song in the movie that doesn't have, ironically, has no cursing in it.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's a gospel. It's also the I Want song.
It's the I Want song of the movie. It's just generally a good song.
It
I
also,
love watching.
yeah.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, it also has imagery and it's a gospel number, so it's a little bit different than Part of Your World, but it has imagery from Part of Your, even at the end when he's,
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is, it's a,
It's
but
blatantly a Disney. It's the most. It is a Disney Want song,
oh,
but
for sure,
like,
it's absolutely an I Want song. Um, but the fact that I love it is that it's a gospel number and it's Satan.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, it's a fun song to watch people do covers of because, like, I've always wondered. I'm not. Again, this is another thing I've never been able to find any consistent information on. Does Trey Parker hit that high note at the end?
Probably,
Is that him? Is that him hitting that high note? Do you think?
I think so.
You think? I couldn't. It doesn't quite sound like it's him. Like it sounds like it's like it
Oh, you
has
know
a.
what? Yeah, now that you mention it,
It's a little too high for him, having listened to him sing a lot. But it's also I could believe it's him.
oh, maybe they got Jim
Um,
Cummings.
maybe I would have went someone. I don't want to say it sounds like someone who's black 'cause that feels racist, but like it has that kind of like that. You're right. That like um gospel, yeah, like a mega church
Oh no, it's a
choir.
gospel song. There's
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah. I just love just the joke that because it's a little like a chihuahua being with a pit bull, where you're like Satan's the bottom. Like how does that
Justin, that's called irony.
how is that working? I don't want to picture it. I don't want to picture it.
Thankfully, we don't have to see too much of it.
What are you, big red ass? What do you think you are, Liza Minnelli?
Come with me to discover the transformative power of kindness and the joy it brings. Join me as we explore every Monday morning simple yet profound ways to elevate your happiness, one gesture at a time.
Wow, fantastic baby dance. I'm gonna dance. Fantastic baby.
Okay, so then we have Up There, and then this is where it really picks up the pace.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. This is at this point up there. See, I watched this today, and I'm on a
And yeah,
podcast,
you're
so my brain
getting.
is completely blank. Uh, what is Blaine Canada in there somewhere?
Hang
Is
on,
that?
I'm just gonna look up.
Let's pull up. We'll pull up the. We'll do what Jordan does. Pull up the Wikipedia. I literally watched this like an hour and a half ago.
I know
I
I
remember
do this
this
every time I go on a podcast.
because
Okay,
yeah,
so
Timmy, what the hell?
this is where the parents of South Park begin to blame Terrence and Phillip for uh, basically the increase of swearing and bad behavior that they're seeing in their children. And Kyle's mother Sheila creates Mothers Against Canada, uh,
Mac.
and Cartman has a V chip installed in his brain, which sends a small electric shock anytime he attempts to curse.
Right. Okay. So yeah, at this point we would have done Kyle's mom's a bitch, which that's also a great song. Um, the funny bit when they performed it at the concert was when he doesn't do the bit where he says all the kids around the world might sound a little bit something like this because it's vaguely racist. Cartman in blackface is probably not okay. Um,
But again, it goes back to the whole thing, and this is why I know you differ now, but certainly back then,
oh, for sure. I mean, it's also Cartman. Like you can't take it
that's
too
what I'm
seriously.
saying. It's if Cartman's doing it, it's not them condoning it. It's saying because Cartman at least started out as Archie Bunker.
Oh yeah. There's actually a really great. I saw a clip of it. There's a really great episode of South Park that's about this, where it's the tale of Scrody McBooger balls. I think is what the episode's called. Where I went through this in an art class. Me and Jordan kind of developed a saying that was sometimes a picture of a boat is just a boat, that's what that episode is about. And Cartman is that. Like
Yeah,
sometimes there's no meaning. He's just saying fucked up shit to say fucked up shit. There's no meaning behind it, and that's
but most of the time, Cartman is playing that role so that the more, how do we say, proper characters can give him
yeah.
grief for it.
Also, you have to remember, as we've already pointed out, this is season two of South Park. This is 1998, 1997, 1998, right? Yeah, something like that.
99,
99, different world, man. Totally different
way
world.
different world.
Totally different world. Yeah, very different world.
Now, what I can't remember is when do we get I Can Change?
So we do Kyle's Mom's a Bitch, and then I believe Blame Canada
Yeah, I
is
believe so.
there.
Which
And
Blame Canada got nominated for an Oscar.
not only did it get nominated for an Oscar, Robin Williams performed it at the
He
Oscars.
did, and I believe he was actually taken aback that it didn't win. He was pulling
Yeah, I
for it.
know. Um,
I'm not gonna lie. But of course this is a just I get major Les Miserables vibes, but it's a big Broadway ensemble number.
not this. We're going to talk about the one that is very
Oh no,
Les
there's
Mis-coded.
one that's absolutely just one day more.
Yeah, it's One Day More. That's how it's. In
It's
fact, that's
one
how
day
I
more.
discovered Les Mis. That song is how we'll get to it. But what's interesting about Blame Canada being nominated for an Oscar? I mean, there's so many anecdotes about it. The Matt Stone, Trey Parker showing up on acid in dresses, which is very
Which
funny.
I'm sorry, gangster move,
I the
gangster
funniest
move.
the funniest bit about that story is when they talk about coming down midway through the ceremony and realizing you're in dresses and being like, "This was a bad idea."
I
Like
see.
that's
I disagree.
very funny.
I think it was hilarious.
Hey, they committed to the bit, and that's all you can say. But yeah, Trey Parker hated Phil Collins for years. Out the back of that, he hated him. That's why he makes fun of him all the time. Because he's like, "Fuck Phil Collins." But the reason why Robin Williams, I googled this because it drove me crazy for years. Because I had the Robin Williams version in my playlist for years, and I couldn't figure out why they didn't sing it, like why they didn't get on stage and do it. Why Robin Williams? And the reason was because the actress who plays Shelley, not Shelley,
Sheila.
Sheila, Mary Kay Bergman had passed away, and they didn't want to do it out of respect to her because her death is. If you don't know about it, I don't want to get into it here. This is
Yeah.
not, but it was really tragic. It was
Yeah.
really sad, and it was really unfortunate. And to respect her, they didn't want to perform it to respect her,
Well, I
which
mean,
is why they had Robin Williams perform it.
kudos to that. But blame Canada. I mean, that
I
song is
I quote it to
too.
you all the time
I
whenever I
quote
make
it.
it.
I quote it constantly. Anytime somebody brings up Canada, I just go, "Oh, they're not even a real country anymore."
Not even a real country. You know what's really funny? I have no clue who Anne Murray is.
Really?
No clue.
I forgot that line in that bitch Anne Murray too.
Man, that bitch Anne Murray too. I have
Well,
no idea who she
when
is.
I was growing up, my mother was a huge Anne Murray fan, although I didn't know she was Canadian until I saw this movie.
Oh, that's funny. You do know who Anne
Oh,
Murray is. That's
I know who
hilarious.
Anne Murray is.
So you,
Absolutely.
the American, knows who Anne Murray is. Me, the Canadian, does not know who Anne Murray is. That's very funny. Yeah, I
Well,
have no clue.
you're not even a real country.
I'm just saying. So she's a singer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. That's funny. Yeah, no clue. Like up until just 30 seconds ago, no clue who she was. So I didn't know who Brian Wilson was for the longest time, but I eventually did learn who Brian Wilson was.
Oh my God. So then, yeah, so we get Blame Canada, which is just, it's a tremendous number. I understand why it was nominated for an Oscar. And then I think we get I Can Change.
No, I'm pretty sure. I think I Can Change is one of the last. I think we still get what can Brian Boitano do before there. Pretty sure. Pretty sure what would Brian Boitano do? Because which like gotta talk about what would Brian Boitano do? One of my favorite songs of all time. What would Brian Boitano do? I could be wrong though. I Can Change might sneak in there.
Oh,
So what
wow. So
happened?
Blame Canada comes before Kyle's Mom's a Bitch.
Really?
And then what would Brian Boitano do?
Really?
Yep.
I watched this morning. I should be surprised by this. I knew that
Well,
way. I knew what Brian Boitano was after. What would Brian Boitano do was after Blame Canada,
it
because
is.
that much I knew. What would Brian Boitano do is really funny, because Brian Boitano loves that song, loves that joke. He adopted that as his. He had a cooking show called What Would Brian Boitano Cook? That he got permission to use the name,
Well, and I remember
but
he was trying to sell shirts for a charity, and then he ended up like not being able to do it. So then he contacted Matt and Trey, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like take care of
I
that,"
was like,
because apparently it was trademarked. But like that's a funny bit.
yeah, because he finds it funny. Because they find it funny. Because they find the notion of a children saying unpleasant things to be funny.
Dude, we absolutely talked like that though. Like we
Oh, for sure.
absolutely
Yeah,
did.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I definitely. Especially at that age, I was absolutely
We were
like,
disgusting.
this movie is my real life. No, I mean, minus the Canadian American War part of it, but
Well,
um, Learning to swear from movies is like my whole deal.
But yes. So what would Brian Boitano do? I mean, it's such a catchy number too.
Oh, it's such a good number. That's the number that makes me go, this would work on stage. You
Yeah.
could do this
Oh,
on stage, and it would
dude.
work on stage. It would be brilliant on stage.
Well,
A
not to
four
mention
part
it'd
four
give
part
Brian
song.
Boitano a nice paycheck.
I'm just saying. Well, what's really funny is so again, big fan of this movie as a kid. When Facebook first popped up, and when groups were way more of a thing, I was in a group called What Would Brian Boitano Do? And he went in there and added everybody in that group.
That's
And so
awesome.
one day I had an invitation from Brian Boitano as a friend, and this was before fan pages was a thing. And I actually messaged him, and I was like, "Is this the Brian Boitano?" And he's like, "Yeah, this is the Brian Boitano." So I was friends with Brian Boitano on Facebook for years.
That is awesome and
And then that
hilarious.
page, eventually Facebook hit a point where they would cap you at how many friends you could have. Um, and he converted that page to a fan page. So I still
Nice.
follow him on Facebook as a result. So yeah, I
Nice.
for a period was friends with Brian Boitano.
That's awesome. And plus, another great line that I have to shout out. What would Brian Boitano do if he were here right now? He'd probably kick an ass or two. That's what Brian Boitano would do.
He did two sow cows and a triple lux while wearing a blindfold is also my favorite. Or I
Actually,
also
the whole song, and then something about and saved the Maiden's Fair.
he traveled. Oh, and saved the maidens fair. Oh, I can't remember what the preceding line is.
I can't
He went
either.
to I think that's when he went to the future. I
Beat the
think
evil
that's
robot king.
yeah, beat the evil robot king and saved the maidens fair. That's what it was. I mean, I don't know who Brian Dennehy is. That's another celebrity. I don't know who he is. All I
Well,
know is
that's
he's the guy in the middle of the song. I'm Brian Dennehy. Who don't know? Not fucking Brian Dennehy. Do get the fuck out of here.
that's the joke.
Oh, is it you just don't know who he is? He's just a random guy. I
Well,
always
no, I
assumed he
mean
was a
he's
celebrity
a
of some sort.
he is some kind of celebrity. I don't know who he is though, but that's the joke. Of course, I didn't know who Brian Boitano was.
No, but that's a running gag for them. That was ever since the Spirit of Christmas, where he was like, "What would the Brian Boitano do?" So that's a joke that they've kept and held on to. Like for some reason, they love
Well,
Brian
because
Boitano. Gotta
Brian
figure it out.
Boitano's from Colorado, isn't he?
Is he? That I didn't know. I
That
know
would make sense
nothing.
to me because they very much shout out
That would make sense if it were
people
yeah,
from
if that were true.
Colorado. I could be wrong there.
But I
I
think
don't know.
so.
What would you call what would Brian Boitano do musically?
Oh, I mean,
I mean, it's a planning song, so it's kind of like
it's kind of a planning song.
not
Yeah,
it's not style. Well, no, actually, I would say
it's a really good end of first half song. No, no, that's La Resistance. Sorry, I don't know. That's not. Like it's yeah, it's a really good four-part song. Like if I were to do it on the stage, I would maybe I would add more harmonies to it. There's not nearly enough harmonies for it, but it's a really good ensemble number. Like a really good ensemble number, especially for
yeah.
the
Trying
main
to,
core kids. They don't get a ton of big ensemble numbers in
this
this.
is really their big ensemble number where they're again they're gonna make a plan and they'll follow through because that's what Brian Boitano would do.
That's what Brian Boitano would do, yeah. And then, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's funny. I can change. I don't think I can change is like till the end because I'm
No,
pretty
it's
sure
not because after what would Brian Boitano do, we get up there. That's where up there is.
that's where up there is. Right. Okay. And we talked about up there. Then what's after up there?
Well, so then we get a bunch of story exposition, and interspersed through this is more reprises of Stan and his quest to find the clitoris.
His quest to find the. That's what Jordan said. Jordan said you have to make sure you ask Jake if he knows where to find the clitoris.
Well, she makes her presence known at towards the end of the film.
That she does. That's funny. Jordan heard me say that. And I just heard him laugh off the distance.
The voice gets me every time.
Stan! In obviously a clear parody of the Blue Fairy, obviously.
100%. Yes.
But yes. Oh, very fun. And I mean, one of one of my favorite lines in this, Conan O'Brien. Conan O'Brien kills it no matter what he does, but he's one of my favorite characters in this movie. I just love that Darren Phillip is like, "We watched our movie together, Conan. You laughed." It's the delivery of it is so funny. It's so good. Or just the part where Terrence, where I can't remember what Brooke Shields says something, and it's just a beat of silence, and Terrence Phillip just slaps her in the face.
Yeah, because
Oh,
I
it's
don't remember what she
funny.
says either, but it's just completely out of left field.
Right? It's good. It's funny. It's very funny. But no, if I were to turn this, like that's my one thing. If I were to turn this into a stage play, I'd put a musical number there, and I'd give it to Terrence and Phillip. I'd give them one more number.
Ooh, okay. So what would we do with that?
Because I'm like, you need to, if you're gonna make this into a Broadway thing, you need to add a couple of songs. I don't know. I would maybe give. I don't know if it would keep him Conan, just for the sake of simplicity. And maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't. We have an actor come and play Conan. And maybe we have Conan come in and be Conan. But I would give. I would have it maybe be a three-part kind of number um
I
between Conan and Terrence Phillip.
because I kind of dig. It'd be a betrayal song, right?
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
Conan's
Yeah.
yeah. So what? There's an interesting
Like,
pair, but yeah, it would just be the betrayal of Conan O'Brien.
yeah, something akin to if we're sticking with Disney, something in terms of like intensity to maybe like the Villager song or Pocahontas,
Savages.
the Savages, yes, like one of those, where it's like a real betrayal, real high energy but dark kind of number. Because yeah, because I'm like the number one thing is like where do we put additional songs in this to expand it out to
Well,
2 hours?
clearly that song would be entitled "Censor Them."
Yes, yes, that is excellent. Yes.
But the funny thing
Oh,
is what they do is as the song progresses, Terrence and Phillip get bleeped out more and more until at a certain point, whenever
I
they
like that.
speak, it's just
I like that. That's good. That's
but
clever.
make
I
it
like that's good.
musical, but make it musical along with the
Because then
that'd
I
be
would also
fun.
I would toss in I would throw in a layer of do a kind of a soft reprise of Blame Canada as Sheila comes in.
Hmm.
That'd be good too. That'd be fun. Then that way you have a few more references to the parents. You give them something to do. But yeah, that's one of my all-time favorite scenes. I love Conan jumps out all funny, all good stuff.
But yeah, and this is where they start mobilizing the military to go to war with Canada because
Yeah, and the
Canada
rest
well Canada because they arrest Terrence and Phillip and that causes Canada to mobilize uh,
and
their
bomb
military.
bomb the Baldwins.
Baldwins.
Oh, that's another thing. The Canadians at the UN. I constantly like it's about dignity. It's about respect. It's about diplomacy, all the time. All the
And
time.
everybody's laughing. We'll give you
What would
something
you?
to cry about.
We'll give you something to cry about. What would you say that this conflict is about? I'm Canadian, and that's funny.
That is very funny.
Fuck you guys. Terrence and Phillip will not be released. Good every time.
But so this leads
Maybe
us
to
into
bomb the Baldwins. Yeah.
yeah this leads us into La Resistance, which is just a parody of
Mm.
One Day
I, I,
More.
I, it's one of the best. It's just in terms of musical structure. I think it might be the best song in that movie.
Oh, I would say so. But here's the funny thing. I view it less as One Day More and more of the quintet number from West Side Story. Because much
I
much
fully
much
respect
like
that.
much like one this is something that happens on a lot of Broadway. It's your midpoint song where
Mhm.
all the other songs kind of get sampled in the
Oh yeah,
new
for sure.
arrangement. But
If you,
quintet does that, in my opinion. It's one of my favorite versions of a song that does that because all the characters are included,
interesting.
all their musical numbers get added into the mix, it raises the stakes for the conflict, and it's a midpoint number. This is where the show changes tone.
Interesting. I will say, with One Day, this is the song that led me to discover Les Mis because off the back of this, I found One Day More, and that led me into Les Mis. The movie version of One Day More is fucked up because it moves On My Own to later in the movie. So she
Mm-hmm.
has her reprise of On My Own, and it's incoherent in that movie. But the funny bit about La Resistance is the gentleman who is singing for Gregory. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure he plays Valjean in
Probably that would be
he's Howard something, but he's a famous
Howard
Broadway
McGillen.
singer. Howard McGillen. I'm pretty sure he played Valjean in a production of Les Mis.
Probably, but he was also Phantom of the he was the Phantom.
Oh, maybe he was Phantom, but he's a famous Broadway guy, like super duper famous. So if you
Yeah,
if
I'm
you're familiar with
just
Broadway, you know him. But yeah,
he's got pipes. I'll give him that. He's definitely got
he's got
pipes.
pipes. Again, there's a lot of lines in that song I love.
I just love how cavalier he is about everyone dying. It's
Right?
just,
Put your dick in cut
though
it
you
cut it in.
die, the resistance lives
Resistance
on.
lives on. My favorite part about that, there's so many. This the staging of that number is great, but I love how he slowly cuts out Stan and Kyle.
Yeah.
Like, he's really funny. Like, he's just slowly stealing the spotlight. There's a lot of great setup to that scene as well of Cartman coming in. He's like, my behind is sore. Why'd you say behind? Because I get shocked if I say ass. Also, the German Scheiße film, which apparently I've never been able to confirm this, but apparently in German it's an English Scheiße film. It's a British Scheiße film.
Probably.
Makes sense to me, but I've never been able to find the German version of South Park the movie to confirm it. But allegedly it's in English,
That would be.
and he's
that
got a
would
British
be,
accent.
That would be a funny watch.
Right? It would be so. It was very funny. But yeah, a lot of that. That's also a self-work song because Stan and Kyle refer to the song as a marathon,
Yeah.
which is what it is in the terms of the structure of the. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. If you want to take it to Matt and Trey, "Man Up" from Book of Mormon is that song.
Which is
It
a
ends.
great song.
Oh, also a great song.
It's
But
time
it
to
ends
man up.
it ends the first half of the play and it sends you to intermission. So yeah, this would be your intermission, your pre-intermission song. And you're right, it does. It absolutely changes the tone. It makes this movie gets really dark, but like
Comedically dark. But yeah, up to this point, it's more upbeat. But again, we've talked about how this movie is structurally genius because it's a Broadway musical. There's no ifs, ands, or
Absolutely.
buts about it. But we come back for intermission with Satan finally having enough of Saddam's nonsense,
Yes.
which leads us
Yes.
into "I Can Change."
Oh, I Can Change is so good. It's really
Oh,
good.
I'm sorry. No, that's wrong. We get "Eyes of a Child." I don't remember this number.
That's in the ending credits. That's not in the actual movie.
Ah, okay. I was gonna say because yeah, that plays.
That
with
song is
the-
also funny, but it's in the ending
It's
credits.
very funny. Yeah. So it is "I Can Change."
And I just a solid. There's a really good. I don't know who sings it, but there's a really fun cover on the soundtrack. That's I can't remember the band sings, but that's also really fun. Um, yeah, it's gaslighting the song. That's what that song is. Come on, guy. I can be better. Hey, Satan, he'll never be better. I'm
No,
just telling you now. I'm telling you now. He's never gonna be better.
never ever.
Never.
But it is very
Never.
funny. It's a very very funny song.
Yeah. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite.
No, but
It's
it's
grown on me over the years. It's grown on me. It's the wordplay is so good in it.
well. But
And
what's
the end
funny
of
is
it,
I've always viewed this as it's just poor unfortunate souls.
totally. It's totally poor unfortunate souls. Yes, it is. It's the. It is a. I want to say it's the. It's weird because the movie has two antagonists, right? It's obviously got it's got Mac, and it's got Satan and Saddam Hussein who kind of get put off to the side for chunks of it, but it is a villain song. But this
Yeah.
movie has two villain songs because Blame Canada is also a villain song.
Well, but again, I don't know that I would categorize it as a villain song as much as like a villager song.
It it
It's
is a more direct parody of a villager song, but in
yeah,
terms of its function, it's basically a villain song.
kind of, but I mean, it's kind of again, that's kind of it's more akin to like a comedic version of Savages or what is the song Gaston sings when they're going through
Uh,
the mist, through the
Through
woods?
the Woods. I don't remember what it's called.
Is it
I
called the
always just call
Villager song?
I always just call it the Angry Villager song,
Yeah,
but I
no,
don't
that's
remember the
that's
actual.
because
No,
that's
it's
what
Kill
it
the
is.
Beast. Kill the
Kill the
Beast.
Beast. Yes,
Kill the
Kill the
Beast.
Beast.
But that song, I would argue, is a villain song. That's Gaston's
Because
villain song.
because yeah, that's true. Because Gaston's singing it.
Because like Sheila is the antagonist of the as much as there's that dangling looming clock of Satan and
Saddam.
Saddam Hussein showing up. Everything that involves them is instigated or caused by Sheila. So she's really arguably the main villain of the piece.
This is well antagonist.
Certainly the main antagonist.
There is a
but
difference. There is a
yeah,
difference.
yeah. She's not
Um,
explicitly evil, but like yeah, she is definitely the main antagonist
she's
of the
driving.
piece.
She is the point of conflict for the boys up to a certain point.
Yeah. Well, I would argue because her actions are directly what leads to
Yeah. But I say she's not a villain. There's a difference. She is definitely the antagonist, but this then leads us to the big USO show before everybody marches off to war with Canada, and we are treated to "I'm Super," which
I'm super is fun. Is also
I
that is a
I catch myself humming or singing it constantly.
it's bizarre because it's a little bit like as a musical number, it doesn't do anything. Like it doesn't add anything to this. It's the one I would argue doesn't really do anything for the story, but it's like the most fun. So like I can't be like, yeah,
It's
you should
just a
cut this because
fun.
it's so fun.
It's just a fun number, and they exist sometimes.
Also the
This falls into. I don't know if this is quite the same as Master of the House because it doesn't give any sort of like character exposition, but I mean it's just a fun.
it has that vibe. It is a secondary kind of yeah. I would the
If you
comparison
took
to
it
Master
out,
of the House, I could see it.
if you took it out of the musical, it wouldn't suffer because it doesn't give any. It's not like Friend Like Me, which is a fun number in Aladdin, but it also
Yeah.
gives you it introduces the genie. So it's
but also I don't know because the USO show serves such an important function to the climax of this movie that like without it, I mean this is the bit that introduces my one of my I've got so many favorite characters in this movie, but another one of my favorite characters, which is the mole. Um,
sheet.
sheet. Jordan constantly will be like, Justin, what's a butt for?
I
For
heard him
pooping,
laughing.
silly. Yeah, for
I heard him
pooping,
laughing
silly.
in the background.
Yeah, all the time. What's a butt for? Or poop. And sometimes I won't be paying attention, and I'll be like, and he'll get me. Like every once in a while, I'll be like, what's a butt for? And he'll be like, for pooping, silly. But he's got some of the best lines that I can't repeat, where he's talking about his relationship with God, where he's like, he spits in my face. So I call him up, like oh my, he's so dumb. Like there's a great moment where Kyle's like, dude, that guy's fucked up. Like, it's so funny. He said he's grounded. He said naughty things about God. So good. It's so funny.
Speaking of Kyle and God, one of my favorite episodes ever is the Easter episode.
Oh, it turns out that Saint Peter is a rabbit. That one. That was good. That was funny.
I just love the running gag where Cartman's so being like, "How would the Jews kill Jesus?" And then at the end, like Kyle has to kill him, and he's just like, "I don't want to."
I don't want to do this. It doesn't feel okay.
Well, and then plus the chant is just okay. Here's the thing you have to understand: it's mimicking an old Latin chant to the tune of Peter Cottontail. Like the level of just musical knowledge and comedic gold to make that happen.
Yeah. No, they do their research when it comes to when they're gonna make fun of
Hippitus
something.
hopitus Deus Domine.
Hippitus hopitus. Oh, that's good. It's
So
excellent.
fun fact. This year I actually found out why Easter, at least in the West, like Canada and the U.S. and England, anywhere where English is a predominant language, I found out why eggs and bunnies are part of the imagery.
Isn't it have to do with it could because the original Easter festival was about fertility and
Oh,
spring?
oh, Justin, it gets deeper than that. There's another anomaly. So this is the informational part of the episode. Fun fact, in almost every other language other than English, the word for Easter is some derivative of Passover
Yes, that makes sense.
because the Hebrew word is Pesach.
That makes sense. That
And
makes sense.
like for example, in Spanish it's Pascua. In French it's like Pasha or something like that. Pasha. Maybe. I don't know. Don't mess me up like that. It's some sort of derivative of Pesach. In
Interesting.
English, it's Easter because there was a Celtic fertility goddess named Easter. And
Ah.
as Rome does when they conquer a land, they seek to integrate
Yeah.
festivals,
They
and there was a
invented cultural appropriation.
cultural absorption because it went hand in hand. And so that festival was being celebrated. Christianity becomes this what? Pach. Pach. Anyway, that's French. So anyway, the Catholic Church wants to make sure that Easter is always on a Sunday because they want to differentiate themselves from the Jewish lunar calendar. And in the English-speaking areas of the empire at that time, there was already a fertility thing going on around that time of year. So they just said, "Cool, we'll just call it Easter here." And
Huh.
but basically the avatars of this fertility goddess were eggs and rabbits.
Really?
Yeah.
That I didn't know. That I didn't know.
And
Oh, so I
all
just thought
and
it was
all
vaguely metaphorical or
No,
allegorical.
it's a direct cultural appropriation. And the funny part is
Okay.
I learned this because I asked the question, well, why don't Christians celebrate Passover? Turns out they're supposed to.
That's interesting.
But that's
I just
so interesting. But yeah, I love that episode so much for
That's the
that
same
musical
time.
joke.
That's so funny. Anytime anyone's ever like, "What Easter bunnies and Easter and all that jazz," I always think of there's a Robin Williams bit where he was like, because I think it might be because people thought that taking a bite out of a chocolate Jesus would be a little weird.
This is also true.
It's a little less weird
Where do
eating
you
the
start?
ears of a exactly right. But I don't feel good about this. I don't want to eat his feet. Eating his head feels strange. Let's make it a
Especially
bunny. That's
starting
less
there.
weird,
Yeah.
right? No, I don't. No, he died for my sins. I don't feel good eating the body this way.
I mean, you are supposed to eat the body, just not in chocolate form.
No, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want it in this
To
way.
be fair, communion would be more popular if it were chocolate.
This is true. This is true. Also, back to South Park. Um, the USO show also. What again? One of my favorite moments in this movie is when the mole die. Well, number one, make the sound of a dying giraffe. It's funny. Wah, wah. But when he dies, when the mole dies, and the little reprise he has of La Resistance is actually kind of genuinely heartbreaking. But then it's South Park. They punch it with a joke where it's just kind of going, shit, funny, funny shit, good shit, funny
It
shit,
is.
excellent
It
shit.
is. It is funny. Which this leads us to the battle,
Ah, yes, the best.
and Cartman swearing so much that his chip malfunctions and he can now emit electricity.
It just straight goes anime there for a minute.
I mean, it is
Man,
very.
that has-
It's Kamehameha, and I think that was intentional.
Oh, for sure it was intentional. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
And I love that the final swear that culminates in his electric blast is Barbara Streisand.
I mean, it's really thematically relevant if you get down to it. I mean,
It really is.
she is an iconic Broadway star.
I hear she's funny too.
She is really
She is
funny.
funny. She is funny.
Yeah.
That was
I-
that was my really bad attempt at a funny girl joke, but
There's a reason why they hate her, and I don't remember what it is.
because she's
They-
genuinely good and they're jealous.
I
No, I know
yeah,
there's
there was-
a reason. I
There's
think
a
it was-
reason.
I mean, this goes back a ways though, because gosh, she was parodied in the first or second episode.
Yeah, it was the reason why they did Mecha Streisand was because she did something to slight them. It's the same reason why Rob Reiner shows up as Goo. Like she did something to slight them, and I don't remember what it is, but it was something that they've gone back to her a few times. But like the kids don't really get that. like they don't get decades old beefs from South Park. It's funny though.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like they do.
But
Oh,
like,
you mean not the kids in South Park? You mean the kids?
the kids?
The kids.
Um,
The kids
but
are
no, yeah,
watching.
this is where go watch. Are we gonna do spoilers? Can you spoil a 20-year-old movie?
I want to avoid it because I feel there may be some viewers on this channel who thought that. I don't mean that they were condescending, but they may have felt like this movie was beneath them because they didn't understand that. Like I argued this for years. I'm like, you guys know this is a musical, right? And they're like, no, but it's South Park. I'm like, no, I mean, structurally speaking, it's a Broadway musical.
But yeah,
There's
it
also
is.
this there's also this belief that Broadway musicals can't be crass, and that's just not true.
I mean, again, Avenue Q and Book of Mormon both won Tonys, or certainly were nominated for Tonys. So
I think they won Tonys, but yeah, they were certainly nominated for.
I don't know if Avenue Q won. I know that Book of Mormon won. I don't know about Avenue Q.
Well, and I mean,
That I
just
can't say
just
with
just
confidence.
for. Actually, my favorite number from Avenue Q. A lot of people say the internet, and I disagree. I think the best number in that musical is "Give Me Your Money."
I, I, I like Purpose because I like a good
Ooh.
"I Want" song. Everybody's a little racist is just
Ooh,
accurate.
that's a good one.
Um,
Yeah, but it
that's
doesn't mean
another
we
one,
go around committing hate crime.
right? Right, but it's not. It's not an inaccurate sentiment. That's another one where I don't understand why they never made that into a movie. Like I just don't.
They
You could
absolutely
totally
should.
make that.
Well, and especially after the Happy Time murders. I mean, come on, what are you waiting for?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the Happy Time Murders wasn't super well received, but
It should have been.
I'm
You know
just
what?
saying.
People didn't get it. That movie was hilarious.
I I love that movie.
That movie's so
But
good.
there's a lot of
It's
inside Muppet humor in that movie, though. That's just kind of the
it's
thing.
funny though. Like it's comedy. And here's the thing: I watched it not expecting to love it as much as I did.
I will say the joke of it's puppets, but it's Sesame Street looking characters, but he's fucking. It does get a little tiresome at a point, but there are a lot of jokes in there that are they're just funny. They're just funny jokes, and also the behind the scenes footage of them being green screened into this weird freehand puppet is also yeah, whole package funny. But okay, if we're not spoiling if we're not going to talk about spoilers of the end of the climax of this thing, what I will say is yeah, it does get a tad. Um, when I was watching it this time, I was like, oh, this is quite a bit more violent than I remembered. There's people's guts and shit. Um, um, yes, him meeting the clitoris, very funny. Finally finding the clitoris.
No,
But
I am the clitoris.
I guess without giving it fully away, I guess my point about Sheila being the villain of the piece is she does technically usher in
Mm-hmm.
the, so she is the cause of the ultimate conflict of the movie as it were. So that's why I make the case that yeah, she more so than Saddam because I think the movie wants you to feel like Saddam Hussein is
Saddam is the villain of exploitation. He's exploiting. The opportunistic villain. He sees what's going
yeah.
on and takes advantage of it. But Sheila is very much the antagonist.
Yeah, yeah. Also, there is a bit involving Kenny, an iconic bit involving Kenny, which if you're a South Park fan, you know what I'm talking about. That is a joke that people don't get. Like just full stop. They don't get it. They don't get the fact that it's supposed to be underwhelming. That's the joke.
That
Like
is the joke.
that's yeah, the joke is he takes off the hood and oh, earmuffs. The joke is they do the thing and he's just Kenny. Like he's
He's just a normal kid.
yeah, he's just a normal kid, and you're like, oh yeah, it reminds me of there's a funny joke in um
I don't feel like
Justice
that's a
League.
spoiler considering we've seen the Coon and Friends arc.
Fair enough. Yeah, I guess in retrospect, it's not a spoiler if you're a fan of South Park. If you're not a fan of South Park, what I don't imagine you've gotten this far.
Yeah, but
Haley certainly did.
You can Google that at that point. You can see unhooded Kenny.
Yeah, but that joke is supposed to be. It's all this build up. People were asking them, what did he look like? What did he look like? What did he look like for years, right? Up until that point, and he's just a kid. But it reminds me, there's a joke from Justice League where Lex Luthor and the Flash get body swapped, and Lex Luthor as the Flash is like, I finally get to find out who the Flash is. Yeah, he takes
no
off.
idea who he is.
Yeah, he's like, I have no clue who this is, and that's what that joke. But people don't get that. Like it's framed as this big monumentous moment, and it's just not. And like as a kid, it blew my mind. I was like, holy shit, that's what Kenny
I
looks
know.
like.
I always had that. I was like, oh, so that's what he looks like. So I guess in a way, like, it just shows you the innocence of a child. The joke is that it's no big deal, but for those of us that watched the show, I mean, it was a big deal.
Right, right. Like yeah, that's it. There's certain jokes in this certain things about this that I appreciate more now than I did when I was younger. We talked about it, but the theme of the movie, which is the idea of censorship and censoring free speech and not freaking out over a little bad language, is so fucking relevant. Like so relevant. People get offended by the stupidest shit. Like in the comment sections of my videos, people get offended at the stupidest shit.
Yeah,
It's
on YouTube,
wild.
where the literal name of the game is if you don't like this video, you can click the X and watch something else.
Right? Me and Jordan always go, hey, if you don't like what I have to say, you can fuck all the way off. Just take your bag, walk out of here, and don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Or to quote the Rock, one of my favorite things he ever said, "Off is the direction you can fuck."
Exactly. Exactly. Um, and then so the big climax happens. It's a story about good versus evil. You can pretty well ascertain where it goes. I think the final song is underrated.
Just the
That's
reprise of
an
Mountain Town, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
I really like it. I like
It's
how
it's the end of Oklahoma. That
it's the end of
it's the end
Oklahoma.
of, it's one step away from yippee
Yeah, well, it's the other song that makes me go, I could do this on stage. Like
hmm
how I would do it on stage is I would do it. Like you know how Hamilton it has two levels. You've
Sucks.
seen Hamilton.
Yeah.
It sucks, but you know how you know how it has the. By the way, this is Haley's
And
show.
we just lost Haley's entire audience.
Entire audience. But like it was random. I was watching a bit of you. This is a wild tangent, but I have to ask: did you talk about Hamilton on the recent episode of the Arte Media podcast with the
Well, we
gentleman you
were talking
interviewed?
about Aaron Burr. How could we not?
Oh, okay. I was so confused because Haley had left a comment about Hamilton, and I was like, how did that come up? That
It
seems
comes up
weird.
fairly early.
Oh, that explains. Anyway,
Well,
that was
because
an
the
aside.
whole bit of that episode is we're talking about historical narratives, and I'm like, well, funny.
Well, yeah, it's funny you should say
Speaking
that.
of historical
Um,
narratives and Aaron Burr,
Um, but I would do a multi-leveled stage where when Kenny goes to heaven at the end, I would have him go up the stairs to heaven and then all the I don't know that they'd be topless in the stage version of this, but
dude, they have
he
to be.
can you do that on stage?
No,
Like they're straight
just
topless.
make them fake.
Oh, okay, you do fake
Yeah.
big large
Oh,
big
dude,
okay.
the gag would be it's men.
Oh, okay, that's funny. That's good. That's funny. Okay, that's funny. But you have it where he goes up the stairs to heaven, and they look at him, and he's up in heaven. Like I
Either
totally
e-
have this like mapped up in my head how I would do it.
either that or it's just so comically exaggerated that
I mean, you could. I guess from afar, if you do you get women up there and you do big fake prosthetic boobs that like no one's gonna tell the difference. Like
yeah, no, yeah.
from the distance. But yeah, I that is one of the songs that makes me go, I could do this on stage. Like if you give me the money and the resources, I could totally stay. I could stage this. I could stage this
You
musical. Like
absolutely could. The question is, do you get actual kids or do you just get young looking adults to play the kids?
you get kids.
See,
You get
I'm in
kids.
that camp too. I feel like
Yeah,
you have to get
because you
kids.
can.
Yeah.
In prior times, I would have been like, you can't. How would you get kids to do this? But like you've got kids cursing on stage for like um Mrs. Doubtfire. There's a Mrs. Doubtfire musical now. There's a School of Rock musical, and a huge chunk of the cast is kids. And I just don't think there's the only exception I would maybe think about is Gregory, because I just don't think a kid is gonna do that
I
baritone.
watch well, I mean, I guess I mean you make certain changes for a stage musical. Yeah, probably
True.
not, but
But I
well,
guess
but
if you
the
got like
well, you know what would be kind of funny is again for Gregory, you can well, I don't I was gonna
there are some
no, I
tenors and
was
some sopranos who could do it, but
well,
I
but
don't know that.
I was gonna say, but this might come across more creepy than comedy. Is you actually get an older actor to play Gregory?
Yeah, I do. I have that's one of those like in concept I'm off put by it, but I have to see it in practice. If I saw it in
Not
practice and I was
super
feeling
old,
it,
but slightly old.
yeah.
Well, but then it's
You-
not as funny because the difference isn't as
But if you got, I mean, you could get there. There's oh, I wish I could remember his name. I'm on a podcast. I can't remember his name. But there's this kid. He doesn't. He's not a kid anymore. He's an adult now, and his voice is obviously not like that. But he did a really good version of one day more of sorry, Les Mis of the duet that Valjean and Javert sing, which name is escaping me right now. The Confrontation. He does a miscast version of the Confrontation, and he's like 10, and like he's not get hitting like deep. It's still kind of falsetto a little bit, but it's deep enough that I'm like a voice like that. I could see doing
Je-
Gregory, but yes,
Justin.
definitely kids.
Justin, I got it. Daniel
Okay.
Radcliffe plays Gregory.
Yes, I'm into it. I'm into it. I'm down. I'm down for that. It works for me. It works for me.
Speaking of which, I didn't know this. Did you know there's a Miracle Worker season 4?
Really?
Mm-hmm. Apparently, it's the end of the world.
Oh no, I did know that. Yes, I did know that. Because that's the one where he and the girl are now dating and they're married and it's like they're domestic but it's the apocalypse.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was aware of that. I have not seen all of it because that's where I dropped off. 'Cause I have to go back and finish that. Oh, I have to go back and finish that.
Well, but speaking of finishing, that is without spoiling the exact ending. But suffice to say, all's well that ends well.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, yeah.
but I
Story of
mean,
good versus evil. The evil wasn't going to win. I mean,
I mean, South Park has its normal subversion of the Satan character,
uh,
which I
eh,
appreciate. But
that is yeah, that is cool. Yeah, he's got a lot. Satan character is one of my. That sounds so funny. He is one of my favorite characters in South Park, though.
if you know, you know. Well,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
he saves the entire world from Man Bear Pig.
Yes, he does. And a scene that is literally just the fight from Incredible Hulk.
It
Like
is.
right down
It
to it, but he does
absolutely
the
is. It's a
roar and it's
frame
just
by
the Incredible
frame.
Hulk. Yeah, it's great. I mean,
Um,
he's got my favorite. Anytime I want to teach anyone about dopamine deficiency, I literally just play the clip from South Park where it's Satan explaining dopamine deficiency to Stan.
because
I have a
it's a clinically sound explanation.
it is I have a cousin, family member who was an addict, and it's what it is. It's what it is. I have family who are addicts, and it is. It's you're filling a hole. I'm not going to get into the explanation of what it is, but it's such an accurate description of dopamine deficiency and an addiction. And it's the thing. It's one of those moments where I'm like, oh, clearly, who's Trey or Matt or someone writing this show has familiarity with addicts, to know to be that specific with your language. But it's just a funny scene because it's Satan explaining dopamine deficiency to Stan. It's just a funny scene. Yeah, I love that character. He's one of my favorite characters. Him and Jesus. Jesus is also funny.
Their
Jesus, that's who's missing from this movie is Jesus.
See, I disagree. I don't think there's anything for him to do. He's not necessary
Yeah,
in
but
this
I'm just
movie.
like as a maybe even as a background.
I think
In the Broadway version,
that would have been quite funny if he had just been in background character.
I or like he shows up at the end and he's just like, you guys don't need me. But
Yeah,
also Jesus is
that
not like that on this show though.
that would have been pretty funny. But suffice it to say, um, if you watch this musical, you will see, and I encourage all of you, especially the Broadway fanatics out there, especially if you actually have a sense of humor and for some reason just haven't watched this because you feel like it's either not a musical or you feel like it's too crass. I mean, it probably is, but I, I mean, you can appreciate the art behind it because it's.
Honestly,
I don't even think it's a musical parody. It's just a musical.
I mean, it's a great. I would say it's excellent satire. It's brilliant satire.
It's
Like I know
satire
satire
is a
and
better
parody
word.
are. Yeah, I think it's more satire than it is. But it does have parody moments. And
Sure,
once you get past Uncle Fucker, that is a sentence I never thought I'd say aloud. But once you get past that song, it's really not that
it's
crass.
not. It's not. That
Like,
and that song is as crass as it is for a reason.
yeah, and like the most crass, debatably moment is when I was a kid, I called it a sausage, and kids who were older than me laughed. But when he busts out the dildo, like that's about as crass as it gets in the later half. Other than that, none of the songs get over. This is my direct appeal to Haley. I know you're watching this. Give this movie another chance. You gotta
Yes.
get past Uncle Fucker. Once you get past Uncle Fucker, I feel like you'll glean some form of enjoyment out of this. We're taking over her show. This is my my plea to be like, Haley, you should give this another shot. Because I know she's watching this at a later date. I
Yeah,
assume.
well, and she's probably gonna fire us after this, but that is South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Highly suggest you watch it, and you can watch it. Oh wait, no, you can't watch it on Paramount Plus, can you? It's not on
Is it
there.
not on Paramount
I
Plus?
don't think so.
I honestly I don't remember. I did not because I don't have Paramount Plus on my editing computer, so I did not watch it on Paramount Plus. So I cannot confirm. I think it is. I think the last time I watched it on Paramount Plus. No, it's not because it's not the no the rights aren't owned by Paramount Plus. It was on
Oh
something
no,
else
it is
because
now. It is
is it
now.
now?
It is now.
Okay. Because there was one time I watched it where you know the opening bit where the Paramount logo turns into the South Park like mountain
Yep.
when they're doing the opening. The last time I watched it, that wasn't there. They cut it out because
Yeah,
it
no,
wasn't on Paramount
there
Plus.
was a licensing deal. So anyway, yes, you heard about Paramount Plus earlier in this episode, or actually, you're going to hear about it right now. Listen, Paramount Plus, best streaming service out there, and I'm not even being facetious. I think it is honestly the best deal. for what you pay versus the amount of content you get. We're big fans of Paramount Plus. Obviously, we do a Star Trek show, so if you're into Star Trek, you should definitely check that out. The Final Frontier on YouTube. I mean, it's really funny.
I think the guys who hosted are
Those
handsome and
guys,
good looking.
yeah, and witty. They're very witty.
They both
But
fill out a uniform. Is the point I'd like to make.
that they do. But you should definitely try Paramount Plus using the link in the description in this video, and you can use it. You can use your free trial to watch South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut as God intended on streaming.
It's true. Yeah, yeah, you can watch it as God intended on your big screen on streaming with your surround sound, so you get the premium sound for all the music. You want clear, crystal clear audio for music.
You want to
You can
hear
achieve
that
that.
random. You want to hear that random oboe.
Right? You need to hear the random oboe. You need to hear the clarinet, little string at the beginning. You can't hear that if you don't have peak surround sound.
You cannot. And actually, the oboe is a criminally underrated instrument.
I mean, it's double reeded.
That is such a deep cut.
I
Like
I know that.
there's one music nerd out there who's like, yes, it is, other than me.
I know it because there's a song by artist by Bo Burnham. It's called Oboe, and he's got a line at the end of the song where he says it's an instrument that's double reeded, the oboe.
Fun fact, and this is actually Disney related because they no, Miramax did, but Disney does the distribution now because Disney owns Miramax, don't they?
Yeah, technically speaking, they owned it a while back. Miramax was Disney's way that they can put out R-rated, yada yada yada.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they did the English dub and release of Princess Mononoke, and the song "The Legend of Ashitaka" has a beautiful oboe solo, just right in the middle.
Does it? Oh, interesting. I love that movie. That's a good movie.
It's such a good
piece
movie.
of art.
That's another one. Maybe we'll do, not on this channel, but maybe we'll do a fun. That is, you know what? Yeah, there will be a spiritual sequel to this episode where I still maintain that. I mean, I think it's the best Studio Ghibli film, but
It's his opus. It's his
really,
opus.
it
Well,
really
I don't
is.
know, but the not the Wind Rises. That movie's boring as fuck. Um, that was supposed to be his opus, and it was so bad nobody liked it. No, um, the
Spirited
last
Away
one
is
he
the
did.
one. Spirited Away is the one that gets a lot of credit. And actually, funnily enough, I would consider Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind as opus, but
Boy and the Heron, that was it. Boy and the Heron is quite like that. That is supposedly his opus.
yeah,
He
that's
contains
fair.
a self-insert character, but Princess Mononoke is pretty close. Like that.
Yeah.
That is
Well,
like every
like
frame's a painting. Like,
well, didn't they invented like a certain number of colors for that movie?
mhm.
Um,
And technique as well. Yeah.
yeah, but I maintain like you can argue about which one's the best because that's a matter of taste, but I don't think you can argue that Princess Mononoke is the most underrated of the Studio Ghibli films.
Oh yeah. To be continued because I would argue that's correctly rated.
Really?
Like I would say that that is an absolutely beloved, understood to be an absolute classic, all-time great films, unless that's
But
not
but
what
but
you're arguing.
Spirited Away is considered Spirited Away is so much more popular, and it's just not as good in any measure.
Interesting. I would not characterize Spirited Away as more popular. That's an interesting to me
It was
of
here
the
at
of
least
oh
when it came out,
interesting
at least.
because in my realm it's Kiki and it's Totoro. Like those are
That
the
are
two the
that
most
are over.
popular.
Uh, I
Also
think
correctly rated.
I think
By the way.
Kiki is somewhat underrated as well.
Really?
Well,
100% on
because
Rotten Tomatoes.
people misunderstand it. People
Interesting.
they don't give it a chance because they misunderstand. But anyway, that'll probably be an episode of Average Intelligence. But that is
Probably.
South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. And we've hijacked the show long enough, Justin. I think we should give it back to Haley for the next episode.
Yeah, what does she call her audience? She will see
The
you next time.
Yeah,
Eternal Shining Stars?
Eternal Stars. So
Eternal Stars. She will
she
see you
will
next time.
see you Eternal Stars later. With that being
Later.
said, I forgot the with that being said. With that being said, she will see you Eternal Stars later.
Later.
Bye. What's a Mean Girls reference we can throw in at the end here?
Hop in, bitch, we're going shopping?